You're assigned to a group project that's worth a huge chunk of a final grade. The path to an A is clear. Everyone works hard, and you all succeed together. But then there's the problem. You know there's probably one person in your group, the free rider, who plans to do nothing and just coast from everyone else's effort. This leaves you with a terrible choice. Do you do their share of the work, sacrificing your own time to guarantee a good grade for the group? Or do you only do your part, upholding fairness but risking a lower grade for everyone? This dilemma, where what's best for the group is in direct conflict with the temptation for an individual to slack off, is a classic strategic game. It's a problem that goes far beyond the classroom, and it's the same fundamental tension that we were left with at the end of our last video with the prisoner's dilemma, a puzzle where individual self-interest can lead to a disastrous outcome for everyone involved. Finding the cold, hard, logical answers to these puzzles is what I find so fascinating. It's not about guessing or relying on intuition. It's about using a precise toolkit to prove why these outcomes happen and what the rational course of action is. Hi everyone, I'm Kevin, a high school junior from Hong Kong. I've always been fascinated by deconstructing the systems around us to understand the why behind the choices people make. I believe that if you can understand the incentives and strategies at play, you can understand almost any outcome. Welcome back to our 5-part series on game theory. In the last video, we learned how to set up the game. Today, we learn how to solve it. In the last video, I left you with a heavy choice. You're a prisoner, isolated, in an interrogation room. You have to decide whether to confess or stay silent. Your fate depends not just on your choice, but on the choice of your partner in the other room. Let's put the matrix back on the table. As a quick reminder, the numbers are years in prison, so they're negative. A smaller negative number, like -1, is a better outcome than a larger one, like -20. Your choices are on the side, and your partners are on top. The payoffs are written as your sentence, comma, your partner's sentence. If you both stay silent, you both get 1 year. If you both confess, you both get 5 years. If you confess and they stay silent, you go free and they get 20 years. If you stay silent and they confess, you get 20 years and they go free. So let's solve this, step by step, using pure logic. We have to put ourselves in the shoes of a rational, self-interested player. You don't know what your partner will do, and you can't afford to just hope for the best. You have to analyze both possibilities. Scenario 1. Assume your partner stays silent. We are now living in the world of the right side of the matrix. What's your best move here? If you also stay silent, you get 1 year in prison. If you confess, you go free. 0 is unambiguously better than -1. The choice is clear. If your partner stays silent, your best move is to confess. Scenario 2. Assume your partner confesses. Now we're in the world of the left side of the matrix. What's your best move here? If you stay silent, you get the sucker's payoff, a full 20 years in prison. If you confess, you get 5 years. Getting 5 years is devastating, but it is vastly better than getting 20. So, if your partner confesses, your best move is also to confess. Look at the inescapable logic. If your partner stays silent, you should confess. If your partner confesses, you should also confess. No matter what your partner does, your single best, rational, self-preserving move is always the same. Confess. And since we assume your partner is just as rational as you are, they are going through this exact same thought process in the other room and arriving at the exact same conclusion. The logical outcome of the game is that you will both confess. What we just did, that powerful, methodical line of reasoning, has a formal name in game theory. We found the dominant strategy. A dominant strategy is a strategy that is a player's best choice, no matter what the other players decide to do. It's your always best move. Finding a dominant strategy is a beautiful thing in a game, because it provides psychological safety and simplifies your world. You no longer have to stress out about predicting your opponent's move. Your path is clear, regardless of their actions. It removes the uncertainty. This logic applies far beyond prisoners. Let's use a quick business example. Imagine 2 companies deciding whether to launch an expensive new ad campaign. If neither advertises, they both make a solid $10 million profit. If they both advertise, the ads cancel each other out and they both make only $7 million due to the high cost. But if one advertises and the other doesn't, the advertiser steals the market share and makes $12 million, while the non-advertiser slumps to just $5 million. Let's analyze this for Company A. If Company B doesn't advertise, A's best move is to advertise, as $12 million is higher than $10 million. If Company B does advertise, Company A's best move is still to advertise, as $7 million is greater than $5 million. So, advertise is a dominant strategy. The opposite, don't advertise, is a dominated strategy. It's never the best choice, so a rational company would never even consider it. So, in the prisoner's dilemma, both players play their dominant strategy and confess. This outcome, confess, confess, is the Nash equilibrium of the game. This concept was developed by the brilliant Nobel Prize winning mathematician John Nash, whose life was famously portrayed in the movie A Beautiful Mind. His idea was revolutionary because it provided a way to find a logical and stable solution in a huge variety of games, even those without the simple cheat code of a dominant strategy. A Nash equilibrium is an outcome where no player can do better by unilaterally changing their strategy. Unilaterally just means on your own. It's a no regrets outcome. Once you're there, if you look at what the other players did, you wouldn't wish you had chosen differently. It's a critical point to understand that a Nash equilibrium is not a prescription for how one should play a game. It's a prediction of the outcome if all players do play rationally in their own self-interest. It describes the gravitational center of a strategic situation, the point where the system will settle and remain stable. Let's test it. We're at confess, confess. If you unilaterally change to stay silent, your sentence goes from 5 years to 20, a terrible move. Since you have no incentive to switch, the outcome is stable. Now, a crucial point. Not all games have a dominant strategy, but many, many games have a Nash equilibrium. Remember our date night dilemma from last video? There was no dominant strategy there, but that game has two Nash equilibria, party, party, and movies, movies. The existence of multiple Nash equilibria introduces a fascinating new strategic problem, a coordination game. The challenge isn't just about finding a stable outcome, but about ensuring both players land on the same stable outcome. The decision to drive on the right side or the left side of the road is a perfect example. Both right, right, and left, left are perfectly stable Nash equilibria, but right, left is a catastrophic coordination failure. This highlights why social conventions, laws, and standards are so important. They are mechanisms designed to help us all coordinate on a single beneficial equilibrium. When communication is impossible, players often rely on focal points to coordinate. This idea, from economist Thomas Schelling, suggests that some solutions feel more natural or special. If you had to meet a stranger in New York City on a specific day but couldn't communicate, where would you go? The overwhelming answer is noon at the information booth in Grand Central Station. That's a focal point. It's a shared idea of an obvious solution that helps people coordinate without talking. So we've proven it. The single, logical, stable solution to the prisoner's dilemma is for both prisoners to confess. But we still have that nagging feeling. This outcome is terrible. To formalize why it's so bad, we need our final concept for today, Pareto efficiency, named after the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto. Think of it like slicing a pie. An outcome is Pareto efficient if the entire pie has been distributed. You can't give a bigger slice to someone without taking a smaller slice from someone else. An inefficient outcome means there are still slices of pie left on the table. Let's apply this to our prisoners. The Nash equilibrium, confess, confess, results in the outcome -5, -5. The cooperative outcome, stay silent, stay silent, results in the outcome -1, -1. Can we move from the Nash equilibrium to the cooperative outcome and make someone better off without hurting anyone? Yes, we can make both players significantly better off. This means our Nash equilibrium is not Pareto efficient. And that is the heart of the prisoner's dilemma. It is the tragic clash between individual and collective interests. It's crucial to understand that these two concepts measure different things. Nash equilibrium is about stability and individual incentives, or in other words, a no regrets outcome. Pareto efficiency is about group welfare and collective waste. In other words, no wasted potential. The prisoner's dilemma forces us to confront a sobering truth. A system made up of perfectly rational individuals can produce a collectively irrational and wasteful result. The logical path and the optimal path are not always the same. This gap between the stable outcome and the best outcome arises because of two missing ingredients: trust and enforcement. The prisoners are trapped in a low trust environment. They cannot communicate to make a deal, and even if they could, there's no way to enforce it. Without an enforcement mechanism, like a contract or a powerful third party, the temptation to defect is too strong. This reveals a profound insight. The architecture of the game itself, its rules and limitations, can force rational players into a corner, making the collectively best outcome an unstable and unreachable dream. This isn't just a thought experiment, it's a fundamental concept that appears everywhere. For instance, the history of cartels, like OPEC, is a perfect real-world example of the prisoner's dilemma. When the cartel successfully cooperates, everyone stays silent by limiting production. Oil prices are high, and all members benefit immensely. But the news is filled with stories of individual countries exceeding their production quotas, or confessing, to grab short-term profits, which often leads to a collapse in prices that hurts everyone. Understanding this tension between a stable equilibrium and a truly efficient outcome is one of the most important lessons in all of game theory. In our next video, we'll look at more static games, explore situations with multiple Nash equilibria, and see how these concepts play out in real-world business decisions. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.